All right, I am working more on the inflatable Angel Dragon suit. I was working on this yesterday and basically taking all the measurements. It's actually for me, so I cut the Angel Dragon toy open and I opened up the seams on the front, on the left and right of the belly. And I also put a seam on the back, which is where the zipper will end up going. And I'm going to add extra material to the back before I add the zipper. And I'm also going to add some extra material on the left and right of the belly to make this thing big enough for a person to fit into. So to get my measurements, instead of just taking my measurements, I put this on and then I checked to see how much additional material that I needed to add into these different sections. So I also needed to lengthen it, and that's actually something I did off camera. After I finished last night, I cut it in half, kind of right at the skinniest part of the torso, and I added this 4-inch section in the middle so that the whole torso is a little bit longer. It makes it a little easier to get on. I could get into it without doing that, but the problem is that they put these arms kind of a little bit lower than where a human's arms are. So it's a little bit hard to get into. It's nice if your shoulders can line up with its shoulders. It'd be great if the arms were up a little bit. So to kind of counteract that, you can basically lengthen the torso a little bit, and that's what I've done here. And the only problem is that it does make the neck a little bit longer, but the cool thing is that this one it has a removable head, so I can actually shorten the neck a little bit if I need to. So what I'm doing next is I have stuffed this with a blanket, and I measured out how big of a piece I needed to go into the left and right sections on each side of the belly. So I've got a pattern here now. I don't know how well you can see that. It's basically a Sharpie on this clear plastic. This is actually just like a giant Ziploc bag that I'm kind of sacrificing. So I basically can cut this pattern out twice. And the way that I arrived at this was when I put this on and had my wife measure me, we kind of planned on the whole midsection having about 4 inches on the left and right of the belly. When I was wearing it, that's just kind of where it naturally wanted to go. It wanted to open up to about 4 inches. And so what we did was we went ahead and taped that where we thought was a good measurement, 4 inches kind of from about the chest down to about the waist. And then of course at the top and the bottom it tapers off, so you basically end up with this diamond shape. Let's see. Yeah, you can see there. Once we taped that off, then we figured out how much needed to be added to the back. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this material out first and glue it in, and then I'm going to work on the back. So I could go one of two ways here. I could actually do either blue or white. So if I go with white, it's basically going to make the belly look, the belly is kind of the white area. It's going to make it look, instead of an hourglass shape where it gets skinny in the middle, it's going to make it more of an oval if I go that route. If I go with the blue, then it'll kind of maintain that little like hourglass shape. So it just depends on really what you want to do. It also depends on the material that you have. So the white is a little bit more scarce because it's only on the wings, the tail, and then also the belly. So if you bought a third dragon, you could sacrifice its belly and kind of come up with some of this material, and then the tail. So I think what I'm going to do is take a look at what I've got and see if I can come up with that. I mean, of course, I could do multiple sections too. See, like I have a piece here, but it's not going to be tall enough to do that whole section. So I could plan on having some seams in the middle, because I already do where I've extended it. So I could kind of do this in sections. It's just a little more work, because that means I'll have to seam multiple pieces together. So let's take a look and see exactly what all I've got. I have quite a bit of wings. The only problem is on the wings, there's print. So that's not really usable unless I want to try to wipe off the print with some acetone. It's okay for small sections, but not big sections. I have a tail here, and I could probably use some sections of the tail. Let's see, I think the rest of the tail might actually already be up here. Nope, let's look and see. All right, there's a tail. Now this is actually, I think this is, yeah, I got to keep that tail. That's the tail I need to reattach. So I'm going to set that aside. Now, here's another tail. It's in pretty good shape too. I guess I need to compare these two. So it really kind of looks like I could use either one of these. These are both shiny. And this one actually already has the vinyl. Looks like I basically cut the suit and removed the tail, so I'm going to probably keep that one. This one's got just a big opening. And so down here at the bottom, this top section is actually all blue material, and the white is printed on. I don't want that white. This bottom section is actual white on one side and blue on the other. So I want to look and see. I guess before I even cut into it, I'll lay it out and see if my pattern will fit. Ideally, if it'll fit twice, that would be excellent, because I need to make 2 of these. Well, it'll definitely fit once. Maybe even twice. Okay, all right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pattern and I'm going to cut it out. Now what I want to do is I actually want to add a little bit of material to this, because I want to be able to have an overlap seam. So what I've got here is the exact outline, but I need to go a little bit wider. So I'm going to take and I'm going to add in about a 1/2 inch. And so basically that gives me my pattern. So I need to cut two pieces of material out. I'm going to attempt to do it from white material. Now, to give me less to have to cut through, I'm going to take some scissors and cut the blue side of this tail off so that I only have the white side. So I'm ripping along the factory seam. I'm going to get down here to the tail, and I'm going to have to cut a couple little things to get it to finish out. Let's see. Alright, so now I have a big piece of white. Actually, I gotta run. I'll be right back.